Strange Santas.
As the New Year holidays approach, I often think back to a strange, real event from my childhood. It wasn't scary, but it was very odd. To this day, I still can't figure out where I ended up that time. When I was 8, my sister and I received an invitation to the community center's annual Christmas party, which back then was the event of the season. The building itself was an aging structure, a mix of worn-down charm and outdated grandeur. The facade featured pale brick walls, flaking paint around the windows, and a pair of massive double doors with peeling green paint. Inside, it smelled like a mix of dust, pine, and floor polish, the kind of place that had seen countless children's performances, community meetings, and bake sales over the years. The main hall was the centerpiece of the building. Its high ceilings were strung with twinkling lights and sagging garlands that had probably been used every Christmas for decades. A colossal Christmas tree stood in the center, its ornaments a mix of glittery new ones and faded, mismatched decorations that looked like they had been donated over the years. A battered star perched precariously at the top, leaning slightly to the side, as though even it was tired from the holiday preparations. Near the entrance stood an oversized, garish gingerbread house set piece made of plywood painted to look like candy and icing. The windows of the house glowed with soft yellow light, and its roof was adorned with oversized plastic gumdrops and lopsided candy canes. This was where kids lined up to collect their candy bags, and the line was already buzzing with the chatter and laughter of eager children. The walls of the hall were lined with faded murals depicting cheerful scenes of carolers, snowmen, and Santa with his reindeer. Some parts of the mural were peeling, revealing the plain plaster underneath, but no one seemed to mind. The sense of holiday cheer in the air was almost palpable. My sister, the responsible one, got in line with our invitations, while I took the opportunity to explore the place. As I wandered, I noticed a side hallway, dimly lit and oddly quiet. Unlike the main hall, which was bustling with energy and glowing with Christmas lights, this hallway seemed forgotten, almost deliberately left untouched. The beige walls were bare, save for a few scuff marks, and the carpet was thin and worn, with patches of threadbare fabric exposing the floor beneath. It looked like the kind of place you weren't supposed to go, which of course made it irresistible. As I walked down the hallway, faint echoes of the play reached me, but the further I went, the more muffled they became. Then I saw it, a black door framed by heavy red curtains. It seemed wildly out of place, as though it had been dragged in from another building entirely. Curiosity got the better of me, and I crept closer. I figured maybe the play was behind the door, and I could sneak a peek without getting caught. I opened it a crack, half expecting someone to yell at me, but instead, I saw Santa, sitting at a table. At first, I thought it was part of the play, but then I noticed the scene wasn't quite right. The Santa in the red suit was flanked by 3 others, and none of them looked like they belonged in a holiday special. One wore a tattered brown overcoat, his beard askew. Another had a mangy black fur coat that might have been borrowed from a defeated villain in a B-movie. The third had a cheap robe and a wig so lopsided it was sliding off his head. All of them had white beards, but they were obviously fake and badly maintained, like they'd been through one too many Christmases. Before I could back away, the Santa in red spotted me and grinned. "Come in, kid," he said, his voice booming. I hesitated, but he waved me in, and I felt too awkward to refuse. As I stepped into the room, the door clicked shut behind me. "Since you came all this way," Red Suit Santa said, "we've got a special gift for you." He reached under the table and pulled out a sack, dumping its contents onto the table with a flourish. The pile of toys that spilled out was underwhelming. A mishmash of battered dolls, one-eyed stuffed animals, and toy cars missing wheels. It looked like someone had raided a box of rejects from the world's saddest yard sale. "Go ahead," he said. "Pick something." I scanned the pile, trying not to wrinkle my nose. My toys at home were way nicer than this junk. Another Santa, the one in the shabby overcoat, picked up a whistle shaped like a red rooster and blew into it. It let out a wheezy, comical squeak, and the Santas erupted into laughter. "Here, take this," Overcoat Santa said, holding the whistle out to me. I glanced at the whistle, then at the pile. Something else caught my eye, a beautiful white ceramic whistle with intricate blue patterns. It looked handmade, out of place among the rest of the junk. As I reached for it, Red Suit Santa leaned forward, his grin widening. "Ah, that's the one. Blow it for good luck, kid. It'll bring you everything you've ever wanted." But as I extended my hand, I noticed something unsettling. Red Suit Santa winked at the others, and they exchanged knowing looks. It wasn't a friendly wink. It was the kind that said, "We're about to pull one over on this kid." I froze. The room suddenly felt too warm, and the Santa's laughter seemed a little too forced. My stomach twisted, and I pulled my hand back. "No thanks," I muttered, stepping away from the table. "Aw, come on," Overcoat Santa said. "It's just a whistle." But I shook my head, muttering something about not needing any gifts, and bolted for the door. As I left, I heard Red Suit Santa call after me, "Suit yourself, kid. Maybe next time." I didn't stop until I was back in the main hall, where my sister was waiting with our candy bags. She asked where I'd been, and I mumbled something about trying to find the play. She didn't press me, and we went home. The next day, we returned for the play. As we walked through the same hallway, I glanced at the spot where the black door had been. But it was gone. Just a plain wall, painted the same dull beige as the rest of the building. No curtains, no door, no sign that it had ever been there. Years later, as a teenager, I visited the building again. Most of the community center had shut down, and the place now housed a library. Out of curiosity, I wandered down that same hallway. The wall was just as I remembered, smooth, unbroken, and doorless. I was about to leave when my sister, now in her 20s, walked up behind me. "You're looking for the door, aren't you?" she said, smirking. I turned to her, startled. "You knew about it?" "Of course," she said. "I met them too when I was your age. The Santas, the weird toys, all of it." "What did you do?" I asked, my heart racing. "I took a whistle," she said, pulling a small object from her pocket. It was the white ceramic whistle I'd seen all those years ago, the same intricate blue patterns glinting in the light. "Why do you still have it?" I asked, a chill running down my spine. She shrugged. "It's not like I can get rid of it. Every time I try, it just shows back up." Her smirk faltered, and for a moment she looked genuinely uneasy. "You were smart not to take anything," she said quietly. I wanted to ask more, but she walked away, leaving me alone in the hallway. I stared at the smooth wall, the memory of the Santas suddenly feeling heavier than it had in years. What would have happened if I'd taken the whistle? And why did my sister keep hers? I guess some questions are better left unanswered.